Welcome to the Root House. We are here to make an apple pie with you. Hey y'all, I am Lauren Bolden with Pie Bar in downtown Woodstock. I am so glad you guys are here. I was invited to be here at the William Root House in the Marietta Square to show that apple pie can be made anytime, any place. So today I'm making a recipe from 1845. It's an apple pie with molasses inside. And the twist is that I'm gonna be making it on that baby, which is an 1850s cast iron wood burning stove. So fingers crossed, I do not burn this place down, that I am invited back and that we get to eat pie together. Whew. Okay, y'all, I've been working on this butter for hours and hours. Oh, perfection. Nice. So now that we have our butter, we are going to make our pie dough. So we've got a little bit of flour, a little bit of salt, and if you can get your hands on it, a little bit of sugar. So I'm gonna take this freshly churned butter and we are gonna just do little tablespoons. There's nothing like fresh butter to be able to slice through readily. All right, so we're gonna take our butter, throw it right in our flour, our sugar, and salt. And then in order to make pie dough, we want that butter to be broken up into the flour. What that's gonna do is give us a flaky pie crust. So after we have broken up all of our butter, look how beautiful it is. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of water. I'm just gonna pour it right in, a little for them, little for me. See how it's starting to change? It's coming together. It's gonna make a beautiful pie crust, and I can't wait for us to roll it out and then to put it in our cast iron pan. All right, so see how it's starting to become very shaggy? So we are going to start to form dough balls. Look at it coming together. I'm gonna make 2 dough balls with this. I did this, again, very 1800 style. I didn't really measure out my flour, sugar, salt. However, if you wanna get specific, it's gonna be about 2.5 cups of flour, a teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of sugar. We're gonna go stick these in our root cellar, let them cool, and then we can roll them out. After we've made our pie dough, we of course have to roll it out. So the first thing we're gonna do is take our dough disc that has been chilling in our root cellar, and we are going to add a little bit of flour just to coat it. We want to still know that it's pie dough. We're going to take our old-timey rolling pin and add a little flour to that as well. And then we're just going to start right in the center and roll out. Each time, because it's warm, we want to roll it. I do have my 1850s cast iron wood burning stove behind me, so it is going to heat up the space quick. So we want to work fast. We're just gonna turn it and roll it, turn it and roll it. With each one, I'm gonna add a little more flour. I'm gonna flip it over. That way, my pie dough will not stick to my surface here. These ladies back in the day were boss. They were able to handle this and make the amount of stuff that they made. Oh, gorgeous! And then all we do is we take this baby, put it in our cast iron, and we're gonna make an apple pie. Alrighty, so our first ingredient of the apple pie is, of course, the apple. We are going to just use a knife to hand peel. I'm gonna take off the little stem, and then just going very carefully not to lose too much of the apple. Just peel that skin right off. It's fine if you leave a little bit of skin in there. And to prove it, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave a little bit of skin in there because I get to enjoy this pie afterwards and it'll be delicious. So after I peel my apples, I want about 6 cups. So I am going to slice them really thin. All I'm gonna do is take a knife, cut straight through. I'm gonna wanna get rid of those seeds. So I just like to cut right around the little seed bed. And then we're just gonna thinly slice it. If you can keep them as close to the same size as possible, that's best. However, sometimes they're not gonna be the exact same size, and that's fine. We just wanna keep them close to the same size as much as possible, because then we're gonna have a more even bake. So I've got my apples. I've got about 6 cups of apples. That's what I feel comfortable with. That's gonna fill up my pie really nicely. From there, I'm gonna start sweetening this baby. So my first ingredient is, of course, sugar. We're gonna do 1/2 cup. The reason we're not doing a little bit more is because we're gonna add molasses at the end. So about 1/2 cup of sugar. We're gonna add about 1/4 teaspoon of that really fancy nutmeg. It's just ground nutmeg, but back in the day, this stuff is expensive. So we wanna use it sparingly. And then our final ingredient is gonna be our molasses. This is going to make it really rich and really yummy and give it more of that old-timey feel, which is fun. We're gonna mix it up by hand because why not? We want everything to be mixed together, and you can see how that molasses is getting spread right through. If you have extra time and you're making this at home, you can actually let it sit like this for a couple of hours, take all of that juice, cook it down on your stove, and then add it back in, and you have this really, really concentrated flavor. However, since we don't have that much time to spend together, we're gonna go straight to the pie. So all I've got here is the cast iron, which is the best thing for our wood stove, and then my pie dough. So I am going to press all the way in so that my dough is touching the pan. I'm gonna pour my apples right inside. Pour my apples right inside, and then don't be one of those crazies that are laying each intricate apple. It's not that intense. I'm just gonna put it in there, press it down, and then we are ready for our top crust. Hello. All right, so I've got my top pie crust here. I'm gonna throw it right on top of my apples. Make it fit real tight, and then all I'm gonna do is create a seal. So here we go. We're gonna just tuck it right in. Let's say you wanted to not do a top crust, then you could do a crumble crust. All you have to do is make a little bit of sugar, a little bit of brown sugar if you can get your hands on it, and some oats and cinnamon, and sprinkle that right on top. The last thing I'm gonna do is create a little vent for my pie, because those little apples are gonna get so warm and toasty together in there. We wanna let them steam out a little. All right, so now that you've got your pie crust with your apples nestled in and they're so sweet and cute, we're gonna pop it right in the oven. So this little apple pie is headed back there. Perfect. My oven is about 300 degrees. We've got our pie. We've got our wood burning stove. I've got my giant skirt. We're about to get this baby in the oven. Top rack. I'm gonna push it to about the middle. And while it bakes, I'm gonna go do something a little time period specific. Maybe crochet or read. Why, hello. I'm waiting on my pie, and as I said, I'm here crocheting and my entire body is sweaty. So I assume this is very similar to what things were like in the 1800s. Why don't we place this little party down and go check on our pie, shall we? So if you're following along at home and also baking an apple pie in your 1850s cast iron wood burning stove, you're gonna wanna wear your oven mitt and open it up and take a look at the little beauty. Ah! It got a little dark, for real, but that's okay. Oh yeah. So the crispiness is really what we're looking for. It just means that our stove is working and it is actually cooking the pie. I don't quite have enough bubbles yet, so instead of pushing it back to the end back there, I'm gonna leave it right up front, try and get that filling nice and baked, and then tell everyone that I intended to burn it. Whew, what a day's work it has been. My husband will be home soon, and I have crocheted them, well, not them, him, excuse me, this little blanket. And now we're gonna check on our pie because it should be almost done. All right, we have got our pie. We have done what they call in the biz, scraping off all the burnt parts. And now we're going to slice into this baby. Just a small slice. This one's for me, so it'll just be a little tiny. Nothing too large. Let's do this. We're gonna scoop it out. Oh, look at our apple. apples right on the plate. So we have made our skillet apple pie using a little bit of molasses. This recipe came from 1845. We made it in that 1850s cast iron wood burning stove, and we did it all here at the William Root House in the Marietta Square. Again, I'm Lauren Bolden with Pie Bar. I am so appreciative that you spent some time with me and that we got to make a pie together. So now if you could leave me and my pie alone, so you can head on and I will hang out here and enjoy myself and this pie.